Introducing Kicking Back with the Cooks, presented by Woodhouse. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Here's head coach John Cook, along with your host, Lauren Cook West.
Welcome in, Kicking Back with the Cooks 2023. And Coach Cook, can you believe it's 2023?
Actually, I was signing a evaluation for one of my assistant coaches that I have to do, and I kept messing it up, trying to write 23 because it was like 22, 21. So yeah, it is 23, and yeah, it's weird to write 23 on the date.
I still feel like I'm living in 2020.
Yeah. Was that COVID?
It's on loop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was COVID year.
On loop, okay. So excited. We started today's Wednesday. Monday we started our first workout, first beach practice yesterday. So got 6 new players, and it's half our team's brand new. So it's exciting.
And we are going to be diving into all of those details. But first, I want to ask you, any regrets from 2022? Or anything you would have done differently?
That's a good question. I have to think about that one. I haven't thought about that because we moved on, but there's always things we would have done differently. Hindsight's always 20/20. But anything big, I don't know. I feel like we did a really good job coaching. I think we had challenges with our lineup, but we got in a really good lineup. We're the #1 defensive team in the country. We've never done that before. It's really hard to do when you're in the Big Ten because you're playing so many great teams. Typically, the best defensive team in the country is from like some conference you've never heard of because they're not playing high-level competition. We're playing against the best in the country, so that was a major achievement. And did it end like we wanted to? No, but I also think some years everything has to go right to get to a Final Four, to a regional final, and you got to have a lot of things go right. And we had a really heartbreaking injury right at the end, which I think really impacted our team. But I loved how some of our players stepped up, and so it was a bittersweet year. But I really feel like we maxed out really well and did a good job. And statistically, we were better in every category from last year to this year. So I thought we made improvement. And now we reinvent Nebraska volleyball with a lot of new players.
Was that the most amount of turmoil you've faced in a season, from lineup changes to system changes to injuries? I mean, the list goes on.
It was a very challenging year in that regard because we kind of had a plan going in, and then we had to adjust. And I always say the great ones adjust, but things didn't go like we envisioned them going. And but again, I think we as a staff, we did a nice job. We really worked through things. We got our players to buy in. We maxed out our talent, I think, getting a lot of good players on the court. I mean, everybody played. At least I didn't hear anybody about not complaining about not playing, because pretty much everybody played. So and some big matches, and even the 2 freshmen, Hayden and Maisie. I mean, Maisie ended up playing a ton at the end, and Hayden, had a great match against Creighton when we needed her. So it's so in that regards, it was a fun year from that because everybody really contributed, and Maggie Mendelson played 2 different positions for us and played in some huge matches. She helped get us a great win on the road at Michigan. So it's, but yeah, we've never been moving players as much as we moved this past year.
So you can't think back to a year in your coaching career that this last year was comparable to, with how many changes occurred?
Nope, I can't. Really, the one year that kind of resembles this was 2003, and ironically, we tried to run a 6-2 that year, and we had a lot of players coming in and out. That was Christina Hotelling's freshman year. She was a middle, and she was hurt. We had some other players that got hurt, so it was, kind of reminded me of that year, and I think it ended up about the same. We ended up doing pretty well. I think we finished second in the Big 12 at the time, and then ended up I think we lost in the third round of the tournament. So kind of reminded me of that year a little bit. And we had a great rebuild and reinvent after that and went on a heck of a run.
So the season ends and then the postseason begins and all moving parts, changes happening. First of all, Ani Evans enters the transfer portal. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, Ani, there's some good things and bad things about the portal. It does the bad thing is it makes it easy to just move. So, but that's the way it is. The good thing is for somebody like Ani, it creates a great situation for her. She's graduating in May. We have a freshman setter, Bergen Riley, coming in. And Kennedy's still here. So again, we're back to a lot of setters. So Ani, based on her development and improvement and getting to play this year a lot, opened a lot of doors for her. She's going to graduate in May. She has a very specific major. She's going after a master's degree in public administration. She would like to be on the East Coast. A lot of the schools on the East Coast offer that because I think she would like to go work for the government and go overseas and work with people in other countries and help them. And so she has a chance to get her master's. She still has 2 years left, so she can get her master's. She could potentially get a scholarship, and it works out great for her. So that transfer makes a ton of sense. We're happy for Ani that she's put herself in this position, and she's visiting schools this spring and will, find a place, and it's going to work out great for her. She's going to end up getting a master's in what she wants, and we don't offer that here at Nebraska, so that's another reason for her. It makes a lot of sense for her to transfer.
Then Merritt Beeson commits. She leaves Florida. That was huge news because she was a key part of that team and their success. 6 rotation right side player. Talk us through how that all worked out and her visit and why she decided to become a Husker.
Well, we at the end of the year we have player meetings, and so that's when Ani came in and said, "This is what I want to do." And then Whitney also came in and said that she was done with volleyball, and so we had.
Hold on. So you knew Whitney was leaving before her announcement, everything happened before Merritt committed, correct?
Oh yeah, way before.
Okay.
So as the portal goes, the portal open. I can't remember. The portal opened early December, I think. And so we were like, okay, we got to find another player. It'd be nice if we could find an opposite. And so, because we'd like to move Lindsey Crosby back to the left side. And in fact, I made her a promise that we would, if she played,
pinky promise?
A pinky promise if she played right side in the 6-2, we'd move her, this year, we'd move her back to the left. So, again, that's why I was so proud of her, and I compliment her during the season that, she was really doing whatever this team needed, and I think she did a great job with it. So Winnie came in.
She wants to be a left side.
Yes, yeah, that's her natural position. We just moved her to the right out of need, and, and then we went to the 6-2. You got to have 2 right side players. So anyway, Winnie came in right after the season and said, she was ready to be done with volleyball, and so we started looking in the portal, and about a week later, Merritt's name came up. And funny story to all this is, so when in the summer when Merritt was on the USA team with Becca and Maggie and Lexi, I went and watched a practice, and Merritt's, in their training, and I'm like, I light up Jalen, why didn't we recruit Merritt Beeson? I said, what's she doing in Florida, and why didn't we recruit her? Because I was really, really impressed with her, and that was just the one. And then I saw her play when they beat Wisconsin at Wisconsin. She played great, and then she came in the portal. So we right away, her name popped up, and I think 20 minutes later, we were on the phone with her, and said, "Hey, Merritt, here's the situation. We just lost a right side player. We have a great opportunity. Would you want to visit?" And she was on a plane the next morning. And then she went through her 2 other visits, and then I think, I was 3 or 4 days. She just went bang, 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 and then she made a decision to decide to come to Nebraska, and really, really enjoyed her. She roped the dummy on the second try, so that's pretty good. Lainey Chobe roped it on the No, I'm sorry. Laney took 2 tries. No, Merritt roped it on the first try. So when that happened, I knew, like, the lightning bolts hit. We're in the Vanny. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good karma right here for Merritt, roping that dummy on the first try after a 90-second lesson on how to rope.
Did she say why she picked Nebraska? Because you mentioned she went on some other visits.
She, well, first of all, as you know, being on a volleyball team, a lot of connections are really, really important. And she played with Becca, Maggie, and Lexi, so she already knew those guys. And then she knew some of our other freshmen that are here from previous USA teams. So she already had this kind of built-in connection and felt really comfortable here. We had a great visit. We did some really cool things on the visit, that we've never done before, just because of the timing of it. When school was getting out, everybody's getting ready to go on Christmas break, so we had to be really creative. We did a couple really cool things that ended up turning out great, we loaned her an Adidas jacket. I think she really liked that because, again, she really didn't have a jacket. I mean, she's from Alabama and she was going to school in Florida, so that was the one thing I was worried about was, would the cold bother her? And but anyway, it was a great, one of the best visits we've ever had. We had a great time. It just felt really, really natural, and I think she felt very comfortable here.
The great ones adjust. She's adjusting to the cold weather.
Yep. So she doesn't have the Carhartt like you have, but she's got Adidas jacket. She's got the earmuffs, the thing that goes around your head, the beanie, and gloves. So they do a nice job of taking care of them. So I don't see how you get cold here with all that.
You touched on Whitney announcing that she was leaving or stepping away from the volleyball team. Anything more you can say on that?
No, I think Whitney did a statement, and we're bummed. I mean, she was really enjoyed having her on the team and coaching her, and she was really, really improving. But it's for whatever reasons that she has, that those are her reasons. That she's wants to move on and needs other things. So it's hard to be a Division I athlete at this level. There's a lot that is required, and it takes a lot out of you. And if you don't have everything to give to it, it's hard. And so we'll see what happens. But she's still in school. She wants to get her degree, and so it's and maybe that's I hope she continues to stay in school and get her degree, and then go from there.
5 new freshmen, plus, well, 6 technically because of Merritt, but 5 new freshies: Bergen, Harper, Laney, Andy, and Caroline. How are they adjusting, and what are your first thoughts of them as, I guess, officially college freshmen?
Well, they're working really hard. They're really focused, just based on the few days I've seen them. We started beach, and first day of beach might have been the best first day of beach we've ever had. So these guys can play, and even though the sand makes you look awful when you first get in it, they were making it look pretty good. Just 2 of them have already gotten in trouble, so I like that, because that just shows you they got some spunk. So but Kelly deals with that stuff, so I don't have to be the bad guy. And but typical freshmen, somebody always gets in trouble the first week, and we teach from it. But they're a very spunky, lively, big personalities, and talented group.
Hey, you'll never learn if you don't make mistakes.
That's right.
The last update I want to touch on is Maddie Cubic. Caitlin Horde decided to go and play pro. I believe Caitlin went to Romania. Maddie is in Puerto Rico. What updates do you have there? Well,
Caitlin went to Romania and got hurt the first practice, so that was tough. So I think she's getting ready to come back from that. But so far, she seems like she likes it. They're treating her very well. She's already been to Paris, so traveling around Europe, which has been great. Maddie's in Puerto Rico. They had their first scrimmage, and she's going to play against Callie Schwarzenbach's team, I think, Saturday night in a scrimmage. So Maddie's in a great setup. You've been to Puerto Rico. She's down on Isla something, where you were down there for a while staying in a hotel. There's the one big beach, and then there's this other area where the shopping centers are, and it's a beach as well.
Oh yeah.
It's Isla something.
In San Juan.
Yeah. So she's in San Juan, which that's the best place to be because you're around everything.
Did you figure out, is she playing with Gina Mancuso?
Yeah, and Gina Mancuso I think they lost somebody, so they called. Gina had played for this team before, and they called her, and she showed up. So,
wow.
Maddie, she had got there one day I was talking to Maddie this about a week ago, and Gina Mancuso is going to play on that team. So we got 2 Huskers down there, and Valentina, the setter, the Puerto Rican setter that's about 38 years old. Natalia. Natalia Valentinas, I think is her name. But she married a guy.
I don't think she's 38.
She's pretty old for volleyball, but.
She married a guy from Omaha.
Yeah, so she's been living in Omaha, and I think she's showing up there this week as a setter. She's a really good setter. So Maddie's excited to play with her, and she was a national team setter, played in a lot of big matches, played overseas, but she ended up marrying a guy from Omaha and lives in Omaha, so that's pretty cool. You got 3 Nebraska connections on one team in Puerto Rico.
That'll be a good team.
And Kaylin has no Americans, all international. She's the only American, so that'll be a big adjustment for her, but she says everybody's really, really nice, and they all speak English, which is good.
That's helpful.
Yeah. And then, Kenzie Knuckles is working for 1890, so I have my first meeting with her on Friday to get an update, and she wants to meet with me, so we'll see what that's about. So I got former players.
Did she have knee surgery?
Yeah, she had knee surgery, and she's rehabbing with Jolene, and she's coaching club, rehabbing with Jolene, and working for 1890. So she's super busy, and great transition for her. And then Nicklin, we had our first beach practice yesterday. So Nicklin served balls for 2 hours straight. Because we go 2 practices, and so she had to serve balls off a box for 2 hours straight. So we're at the end of practice. I go, "Hey, Nicklin, I hope your shoulder's sore tomorrow, so you feel like what it's like to really coach." And
did she have to ice it?
She was like walking out, like shaking it, and then there was a water bottle. So I said, "Nicklin, you got to pick up that water bottle. It's one of the Huskers left it here." So I said, "Isn't this fun? You get to pick up after these guys. So welcome to coaching." But
Poor Nicklin.
She did great. She raked the sand court after the practice, and so she's really jumping into embracing, what our GAs do, and kind of the ground floor of coaching. And ironically, her dream job is to coach at Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt hasn't had volleyball and just started it. They hired the Kentucky assistant, Anders, as a head coach, and I know she's had one interview with them, and I think they're hiring slowly because I don't think they play for another year, start playing, and then I think they don't become official till 2025 maybe. So I think she would really like to work at Vanderbilt because she's from Tennessee. It's Nashville. She would be great because she has great connections there. So we're hoping she could parlay this into her first coaching job. And
one of your other GAs got hired somewhere, correct?
Yeah, Remy got hired at Arizona. So, and everybody else is back. So that's one of the other things about the end of the year, there's all these new opportunities for players that finish in our program for them to start. So we got one goes in coaching, one's in 1890 doing something, brand new, and then 2 continue to play professionally. So that's an exciting time.
Anything you're looking forward to for next season?
Well, I'm looking forward to building this team, and we have everybody can play, and there's going to be some great competition. So I'm looking forward to watching these guys go at it, when we get in the gym. So that's one thing that I'm excited about. We're going to do some we've got some things we're working on that have never been done before. So we'll talk more about that down the road. But you know, we never want to stay the same, and we never want to assume we got it figured out. So we got some epic things that are in the works. And
I love that I know. I don't even have to ask you because I already know.
You only know like this much. There's a lot more.
I know like this much.
Yeah. Well, there's anyway, it's going to be fun. But we'll be talking about that here maybe in February.
Did you make a New Year's resolution?
I don't remember if I did. But no, one of the things that I challenged myself and Jalen and Kelly is we got to reinvent ourselves every year. So we're going to reinvent this team. We're going to ask our players to reinvent and to work on things to get better. And then we got to do the same as coaches. So I'm just trying to, I'm trying to read. I've got some things online, masterclass that I'm watching that you can pull up all these very successful people, and they teach classes on certain things. So right now I'm on Mike Krzyzewski right now. He's on there for 3 hours talking about coaching, which is great. But you can also learn how to barbecue. Richard Branson's on there, teaches classes. President Clinton teaches classes about leadership. So there's a lot of very interesting people. So just trying to stimulate my brain, learn. Read a couple good books already, and then of course I do, a ton of speaking. So preparing that and interacting with the state. I just did my first talk this morning, and it was awesome. And just interacting, sharing Nebraska volleyball, but also trying to inspire people and just be a better coach.
Are you still on your cold plunge, cold shower kick?
Yes. Okay.
It makes a difference, right?
It's unreal. It's unreal. So, yeah, so I'm going to start transitioning from the cold shower into our cold tub. And that's my next transition, because in the cold tub you get all the way up to your neck. In the shower
right.
You can kind of move around. So, but there's something to it. So
you do it in the morning.
Yep.
You do, how long are you up to now? Over a minute?
I'm up to 1:30.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it just, how would you? We're both doing it, by the way. I just feel like it gives you more energy. It shocks your system. You feel better. I don't know how else to explain the benefits, but it's life-changing.
You're absolutely right, and there is scientific evidence, and that's, again, listening to podcasts. There's Dr. Huberman out of Stanford is really big on this, and there's scientific evidence how this impacts you. So I'm hoping we can get Mike Elliott going on it, because we got him on mud water and all these other things, getting him off coffee. Now the next thing is the cold plunge.
Oh gosh, I would pay money to see Mike do a cold plunge.
So, Lauren, I got asked this question today speaking. I won't say where I spoke today. Very high-level crowd, very successful company in Lincoln. And we did a question and answer at the end. And they asked me about the benefits or the pitfalls of the NIL. And they actually said it would tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I talked a little bit about the ugly part of it, which is players moving and illegal recruiting going on. The ugly part of it is it's hard to build a team. And you asked me what I'm excited about. We got a core group. We have no seniors, so this core group has the potential to stay together for 2 years. So that's what's exciting, is to see this group now. What can they do over the next 2 years? How much can we improve? And now the question is, can we keep them all together? And that's, with the day and age of transfers and portal and all this, it's getting harder and harder to do that. So can we have a culture and a team that they really, really want to be a part of? And if we can do that and keep them together, we'll be very powerful. That'll be something that could give us an edge. And then there's the good part about NIL, which is some players that can't afford certain things, they have a chance to be able to go and get things like a car or something they need for their apartment, because in the old days, scholarships really, they just covered your room, board, books, and tuition. Well, now scholarships not only cover all that, but we have what's called the 5920, which they get basically $5,920 a year. They've got the Employees Student Opportunity Fund, which they can tap into for emergency things. They get to work camps, but now they can do NIL deals. So,
on behalf of Coach Cook and myself, thank you to everyone who supports us month after month, year after year. Now we've been doing this for a couple years. We hope you all had a very happy holiday season, and we will see you again next month, which also happens to be my birthday month. So Coach Cook, maybe we do a little giveaway.
Yeah, that would be fun. Madden tells me every day it's her birthday. So,
because she wants a cupcake.
oh, that's what, okay.
And she wants to blow out a candle on the cupcake. So
Okay.
she any
likes that.
excuse for a cupcake and a candle.
Yeah. And Nicklin asked me today as I was coming over here if she's grown a lot and is she talking? I said, yeah, she's grown a lot and she's talking a lot. So
She's putting like full on sentences, paragraphs together. I mean, she doesn't stop talking.
yeah, she's still, Maddie's her favorite volleyball player, I think, right?
Yeah,
She
she'll
mentions Maddie.
randomly just out of nowhere say, "Go, Maddie!"
Yeah. So,
I'm like, well, Maddie technically is still playing, so I guess we can still say that.
yeah.
And then the other day she had a soccer ball and she was kicking it around, and I said, "What sport are you playing?" She said, "Volleyball."
Yeah.
And then I was taking a video, and she said, send the video to Papa.
Yeah. Start recruiting her.
Well, on that note, thanks again, and go Big Red.
All right. Thanks, Lauren.